everybody? Welcome back to the Canadian Collegiate League. I'm Rain. I have the pleasure of co-streaming a match that's happening in the Premier Division tonight. So this was rescheduled from that default day of Wednesday. We have University of Toronto Varsity versus the University of Saskatchewan Varsity. So two pretty heavy hitters here. So I'm definitely expecting that this is going to be a super fun match to watch. So as always, thank you so much to both of these teams for agreeing to let me co-stream this match. Let's get to know these two teams a little bit. Returning teams here to CCL. So if you've been following along last season, you definitely will recognize some of these names. We'll start out here with the University of Toronto Varsity. We have Bearfoo and Goofy Juber, those DPS, Versace Plug, the Tank, Deferattle, and Computer OW are going to be the support lineup here for this team. So University of Toronto did, of course, go all the way to those grand finals in the last season. I believe actually winning it out overall, so definitely a big hitting team here in this University of Toronto Varsity squad. Coming up against them, like I said, a returning team as well. It is the University of Saskatchewan Varsity. We have Cher and McMahon, the DPS here. Techie T is going to be on that tank role. Jose on the support, and the Bochi also on support. And don't mind the Widowmaker and the Genji. I give these players pretty much free reign over what hero they want to represent them. So if you want to be a tank Widowmaker, we can make it happen here for you. All right, so we are in the lobby. We're getting all of the bands and the hero, or the map bands and the hero bands in. So we do have map number 1 going to be a coin flip here. So the winner of the coin flip was Toronto, which means that the University of Saskatchewan gets to ban out one control map, and then it will be on Toronto to decide what control map we are going to be starting on in this best of 5. So this is going to be a first to 3 in the maps here. So we have an Ilios ban coming out map number 1, which I think is kind of surprising. Definitely seeing a lot of Ilios, a lot of Lijiang, and we are actually going to end up on a control map that I don't get to see a whole lot. So let's get it locked in my graphic here. Don't want to give y'all any spoilers, although maybe that was a little bit of a spoiler in its own. All right, map is locked in. University of Toronto are opting to take us over to Samoa for our first control map, and definitely an interesting one, the newest control map, of course, here, and a really fun one. I think there's a lot of opportunity to play rush compositions on Samoa. Don't necessarily have as much high ground as some of the other control maps, so dive is definitely still possible, but it is going to be just a little bit harder to kind of get away with it. Used to be, this used to be the Malga map. I mean, to be fair, back in Malga meta, most of the maps were Malga maps, but definitely a really strong contender on his namesake map. So don't know that we'll necessarily get to see any Malga here. Definitely does feel like the Zarya, the Sigma, in a pretty good spot right now. I think the Sigma especially we're getting to see a lot more of. And the Vendetta, of course, definitely still an option here. She's gonna be good on pretty much every map. There's not really a lot of maps where you're gonna be absolutely just distraught if you play the Vendetta. Alright, we do have the hero bans as well, so this is gonna work. Standard hero bans coming through, so one team is going to get to go for the first ban, and then the response ban will not be able to ban out that same role, so it's only gonna be one ban per role here. And it is going to be Saskatchewan. They go for the first ban. And it is going to be the Cassidy ban coming through for Saskatchewan. Cassidy always been a pretty consistent amount of damage. Great job controlling flanks and angles. So I'm going to make sure that I get all of these hero bans kind of updated here, so that y'all know what is banned out when we do finally head into the map. Alright. So we are not going to be able to ban out a DPS for Toronto. Toronto is going to have to go for either a support or a tank here. Interesting. I definitely do feel, and I've always kind of felt that once hero bans were introduced, going for a ban onto a tank or a support is going to have a lot more of kind of an impact on the meta, the composition that you end up playing. Just because DPS, there's so many DPS, you're able to swap in other DPS heroes fairly easily and still be able to run the same composition that you're looking to run. That being said, if you have a hero that's more or less kind of taking over the meta, I'm thinking like Vendetta right now, banning out one of that DPS definitely can change things up a lot too. But Toronto is not going to be able to ban that out since the cast ban came through. So now thinking about if Toronto want to run a rush composition or if you want to run a little bit slower of a comp, because I did mention Samoa historically has more so favored those rush comps, so I'm expecting that we're probably gonna end up on the Lucio Kiriko here. Potentially it could be different depending on if one of those hero bans come through, but no, it is going to be the Zarya ban actually coming out here from Toronto. So like I mentioned, Zarya in a pretty good spot right now, and with that Vendetta not being banned out, you can assume that, you know, maybe Saskatchewan would have wanted to run that. McMahon did have Vendetta set as their preferred hero, so definitely know that they could probably play that hero as, alright, let's get our hero ban updated here for U of T. The Zarya gonna be taken out of things, and then we will head right on into Samoa. It is going to be Beach to start out here. Yes. I mean, it wouldn't be a CCL match if I didn't have somebody complaining about skins being off in the lobby. I do believe that if you're the lobby host, I think that you can turn them on. I'm pretty sure CCL is okay with that. But in the default lobby code, yeah, the skins are turned off, so that's unfortunate. All right, Toronto are going to be over on the blue team here. Saskatchewan on the red. Of course, not going to make too much of a difference here on control, as it is seeming like we're going to have the Sim TPs out from both sides. I did see McMahon hover over that Vendetta, so they might swap back over on to that. We'll see what Goofy Juber goes over on to. He's going to actually move over onto the Tracer here. Both teams are going to have this Sojourn, so Bearfu versus Cher going to be an interesting matchup here. Lucio's for both as well. Difference here being the Baptiste out for Toronto, and then Bochi is over on that Kiriko, so a lot of survivability in the support line here for the side of Saskatchewan. All right, amp in! Saskatchewan wants to go quick here, especially because you know Versace is on that Sigma, so you're going to have a hard time winning those kind of front-to-back fights if you are University of Toronto. This means that they're going to have to take a little bit more time kind of focusing on these angles. You can see that Goofy Jumper is trying to do just that, but the presence is on the point here. Having that Ramontra does mean that it's going to be really scary for Toronto to try and walk on the point here. Jose actually does end up falling. A trade is coming through here. The Baptiste falls out as well, and all right, I mean, the patience might actually be paying off for Toronto here. They did let that flip go over to start things out, but it is going to be a quick team kill coming through after that cap.
Roger that.
And that is going to be 18% on the board here for Saskatchewan to work with. Good chunk of damage being done here by the DPS for the side of Toronto. Yeah. Saskatchewan back into this fight now, though. A lot of cooldowns have been forced out from Versace Plug, and Saskatchewan just does so much damage. And you can clear so much space as well. The slide has been forced out of Bearfu here. He's falling very, very low. Versace Plug also falling very low. You have this amplification matrix ready to go. Yeah, Desperatto's gonna throw that in right away. You're gonna be able to do all that extra damage, all that extra healing as well. Just gotta make sure that you're in LOS here. Both DPS are so low for Toronto, somehow staying alive. Jose does end up getting caught in that graphitic flux, and the cleanup is there for Toronto. Just Bochi, the lone survivor here for the side of Saskatchewan, and he's gonna get staggered out just a little bit there.
Copy.
Couple of ults committed for the side of Toronto, but you are holding on to that overclock and computer building up to that beat as well. Good amount of ults online for the side of Saskatchewan, or coming online, and some really big ones here. That Annihilation alone from Techie T, if you just force a fight on point, it's going to be very hard for Toronto to respond. All right, Kitsune rush in. Therefore responds with this overclock. Has a nice angle here. Finds a big chunk of damage. Not the final blow, though, as Thickman is going to be able to take that Sojourn down. They're very, very low, though. 19 HP. Oh, so much damage. That overhead shot from Vendetta. Absolutely terrifying here, and that frontline presence is going to be enough for Saskatchewan to get themselves onto the point. 86% on the board, though, for Toronto, and they have not backed up very far. This Annihilation, though, might change things for Toronto. Yeah, everybody gonna just run for the hill there. Techie T does end up losing that Annihilation, maybe a little earlier than he would have liked, but it's all about winning the fight, claiming the space here, and crucially, you still have 3 ultimates to work with here if you're Saskatchewan, including both these DPS ultimates. Oh, pause. Request for pause coming through. Let's see. That was on the side of Saskatchewan here, as Techie T actually did lag out a little bit there. I think we might have actually kind of noticed that. Yeah, the crash actually coming through for Techie T. So we're going to get him back in the lobby here. All right, just a little reminder what we're working with alt-wise here, because 86% on the board for Toronto does mean that they really do just need to win one more fight. They'll be able to claim Beach and start a point up here in this series. But don't quite have anything online just yet. Now, Computer OW is getting that beat online 92%, so you're going to be able to have that. Ults, though, like I said, ready to go here for Saskatchewan. Both those DPS ultimates, and you already have the beat ready to go. The DPS ult alone, if you use the Sundering Blade from McMahon, it's gonna cut through that that sound barrier that comes through from Computer. So you have the opportunity now to, maybe you want to use this overclock to kind of draw that beat out, then you just kind of come in. But now where Techie T did DC, now he didn't have his ult, so we're not too worried about that, but he does have to walk all the way back from the spawn. So this is gonna be yeah, pretty rough fight to try and win here. Honestly, if you're Saskatchewan, you have no choice but to really try. You have to commit an ultimate here, because you cannot let this swap come through, because then you're gonna have a very, very hard fight ahead of you. Let's get back into things here. Looks like Toronto actually didn't have as much space as I thought they did. That Annihilation did push them back very, very far here. Techie T got the taxi here from Jose, so it's gonna be a fight on point. Rock connects onto Bochi, though. He just found himself a little bit split out, and that is gonna be the Gravitic Flux onto McMahon. The beat comes out from Jose, but it doesn't connect onto the Vendetta. Share have this overclock up and running, manages to take out Desperado, so that's a big amount of healing now gone, and the beat actually came out from Computer as well. Versace was gonna pick up Jose. No, the pulse bomb, it lands on the floor, but unfortunately Cher was not as far away from that as he thought, and that is going to be the flip going over to Toronto. 100%, they will claim Beach. Poke Block says, if Sask doesn't win, I will be very upset. Okay, Sask, that's a lot of pressure. You don't want to upset Poke Block. Poke Blocks. There, I might have already done it. All right, well, Saskatchewan now in a position where they do need to win the next 2 sub points of Samoa if they want to start off with a win. And now, of course, that does mean that Toronto looking to close things out here on Volcano, and they're gonna swap up the composition a little bit to try and make that happen. It does look like we're gonna get the Junker Queen Rush comp coming out. It is the TPs out from both, and then yes, back over on to the Sojourn for Share. Bearfu is over on the Genji now. I would say arguably his signature hero. Fantastic Genji from Bearfu. Gets a whole lot of value in those dash resets, so we'll see what he can get done on this with this rush composition. Again, though, the robotic composition can be a little bit stronger in that front line tool, and Versace Blood does get absolutely run over there. Cher getting traded out, though, found out on the angle, so it is 1-for-1 here, but with the Junker Queen out of the picture, it's going to be very, very hard for Toronto to stay in this fight. Oh, the deflect out. Bearfu not going to end up finding anybody with that. McMahon taking care of the peel potential there, as it is going to be a Volcano starting percentage here for the side of Saskatchewan.
Hello.
Pretty quick fight, so not a whole lot of ults built up here. Ooh, McMahon out on an angle. Oh, they get out alive. And yeah, now you're going to have the support from your tank to work with here as well. Kind of a fight happening in Reactor, but Versace Plug is not interested in that fight. He's going to rotate around, put pressure on the point, but that's a great rotation split here for the side of Saskatchewan. As unfortunately, the rest of Toronto were not quite following the lead of their Junker Queen, and he's going to be more percentage here for Saskatchewan to work with, and looking pretty good for them to maybe try and tie this up. Again, don't want to speak too soon here, as Bochi actually is taking a long walk back from spawn, so we're gonna get that taxi there. Jose always good for it, as he's gonna be even match up here. Bochi is gonna have that first on ult online for this next fight. We're building up that pulse bomb as well. Alright, amplification matrix committed here. It has a nice long angle down main, and that's gonna do a whole lot of damage. Most of us getting the assist on those kills for the DPS, and it's all full steam ahead here for the side of Saskatchewan, looking to claim as much space as possible. They're up about that 50% now. Just had to commit that amplification matrix, and now you're gonna be having this Thundering Blade coming online for McMahon. Goofy does have the pulse bomb though. We've seen him get a kill with it before. Looking for an angle here. Is gonna have the support of Computer as well, so you get the speed. Who is this pulse bomb target looking for? Potentially the tank, and then you want to maybe just blow him up. Hard though, we're taking a little bit of time here as McMahon is going in. Gonna punish that split on the Tracer here, as now you're already down one here. Bearfoot gone as well. There's no DPS for the side of Toronto. Okay, Deverado does get his, but immediately traded out here. Overtime now triggered. Toronto have to keep somebody on the point, and it's gonna be very difficult because there is an overclock all over this point. Share not quite finding the shots, but there we go. As I say it, he's gonna take down that Tracer. Bearfoot has Blade ready to go. No HP to make it happen. Annihilation. Pretty much just a celebration here for Techie G. Alright, Saskatchewan have turned that around 100% to 0. Now that is a rebound here for them. We're gonna go over to downtown to finish things off here on Samoa.
Ready for battle.
Locked and loaded. Who's ready to
All right,
get
let's
this
see if
done?
there's any swaps that come through for these teams now. It looks like Versace Plug just really showing us a whole lot of flexibility over on this tank role. Is potentially going to be coming out on the Diva here. Of course, downtown is going to have a little bit more of this high ground to control, so having a little bit of vertical mobility definitely can be very, very helpful here. Otherwise, does seem like it is going to be similar compositions here for both teams. McMahon going to take over the teleporter duty and swaps over on to the Vendetta. Shortly after that, Goofy Duper is back over on to this Tracer, so the only difference is going to be Versace Plug on that Diva for this one. Goofy Duper looking to get an angle here, especially now that you have this Diva. You want to be able to get these pinches, get the dives in.
Ooh, recall forced out early though. Now it's gonna be really hard to kind of try and find that angle, especially with Versace Plug actually having to back up as well. The point has now opened, and our map is pretty much flipped as Toronto now standing over on the side of Saskatchewan. And that's the go button amp in. The speed from Jose just sending his team forward there into a team kill. And that's the first percentage on the board here for Saskatchewan. And pretty quick flip over, so not a whole lot of ults to work with here. I think that right now Saskatchewan are just doing a fantastic job really punishing these rotations that are coming out from Toronto. Which is tough because if you're Toronto, I mean, you have all this mobility, you have the angles, you need to control them, but it's a little bit faster here. McMahon gonna come in, trying to just force out Bearfoot, and he's gonna have the support of Jose there to really make that happen. You're down Bearfoot already. It's not looking good for Toronto to stay in this fight. The baby Diva, unfortunately, a very fantastic stagger target now. He's going to end up getting staggered out a little bit here, but all right, McMahon putting Versace out of his misery there, as Cher gonna pick up a nice couple as well. All right, reset here for Saskatchewan as Versace Plug. It is tank number 4 here for map number 1. He's going to move over on to the Erasa, try to have a little bit more frontline presence. Try and not have to have as many rotations, because that really is where you're kind of getting punished in these fights. We do have Goofy Juber with the Pulse Bomb coming online soon. McMahon does have that Sundering Blade as well, so it's going to come down to which is going to be able to find the value first. little bit of pressure on the point here. CCL does have that recall forced out, though, and now, meanwhile, while you were controlling that point, it was the rest of your team pretty much just getting walked on here as Everado and Versace plug fall. Saskatchewan just in control of this fight, as it might be another 100% to 0 here on downtown. It is going to be Goofy Juber on a mission to try and get the overtime. Manages to do just that. We have the Kitsune rush onto the point as well. Toronto are forced to pretty much just throw ultimates into it and hope that something sticks, but McMahon and Techie T have ults to go. They're going to tear things apart on the point here. The annihilation from Techie T is going to end, but that blade from McMahon is not. Overtime gone, and that is going to be the reverse sweep for Saskatchewan happening here on Samoa. That's going to be them putting themselves up 1-0 in the series. And this, I will remind everybody too that this was University of Toronto's map pick. So feels pretty good to be able to start out with a win, a reverse sweep win on your opponent's map pick. Sure. Oh, the Vendetta. Yeah. That Sundering Blade, if you don't have movement cooldowns to get out of it, you're pretty much cooked. There's really not a lot that you can do. It's going to cut through the amplification, or it's going to cut through the sound barrier. If you have the lamp, if the lamp is positioned between yourself and the Vendetta, the blade will actually cut through the lamp, destroy it, and then kill you. So it really is kind of like, you need to get around a corner, you need to have movement cooldown. So to really get big value on the Vendetta, it's really just about kind of waiting out some of those movement cooldowns and going in with it, because not only does it do a great job at kind of killing your opponents, it will also really force a lot of space, and Saskatchewan has done a great job kind of controlling space and making use of it. All right, map number 2. It is going to be Toronto that get to decide first where will we be going for the map type. They have the opportunity to take us to an escort or over to a payload, or sorry, same one, escort or a hybrid map, excuse me. And then we will have the ban come out for the side of Saskatchewan, and then the selection will come through for the side of Toronto. So they are deciding to take us over to escort. So we will be going to one of those payload maps for map number 2. Ban coming through as well from Saskatchewan. It is going to be a ban on to Dorado. A reminder as well, the way this the maps work is that the map pool is entirely open, so any map that is available for competitive play is available, but we do have map bans. So the winning team gets to ban out a map, and then the losing team will get to select which map we do end up going to. So no Dorado on the field here, so we'll just have to wait and see where we will be going. Lots of options here for Escort. I actually think maybe a fun little fact, I believe that Escort actually has the most number of maps. I think it's 12. You can fact check me on that. That's okay. All right, well, we know where we're going for our escort map has been locked in. I have been seeing a decent amount of this if we do head on over to escort. I feel like Circuit was the favorite for a long time, but Route 66 definitely coming in to favor here. Oh, let's update the Samoa map as well so that we know who won that one out and what the score was. And there we go. All right. Doomfist mains are in shambles. They missed this. I also have to wonder if we're going to get skins turned on for this now. I'm not going to mention it in the lobby. I'll just let the chaos ensue if everybody realizes they can't see their mythic weapons. Alright, so we will now just be awaiting the bans to come through. So it is going to be Toronto. They get to go out with the first ban, and of course whatever role they ban will not be able to be banned out on the side of Saskatchewan.
All right, last map we had the Cassidy ban and the Zarya ban. I don't know that the Cassidy ban necessarily did a whole lot, but the Zarya ban definitely could have. That being said, Saskatchewan still seemed to have a totally fine time running that Vendetta sans the Zarya, so you know, maybe they're gonna make it work no matter what, honestly. We have the first bans coming through here. All right, Toronto are going to go for a DPS ban. And they are going to be taking the Freya out of the equation here. Another hero that I do see a little bit of, maybe not as much as, you know, she used to, but having that mobility and having that long-range damage is really, really helpful here on Route 66. All right, and in response, it is going to be the Sigma ban here. So this is definitely a hero that gets a lot of playtime, specifically on Route 66, and has been getting a lot of playtime with the Vendetta as well. So we will have to see what we're going to end up with here. You do have the option, I think, to just stick with this Ramantra composition if you really want, for the side of Saskatchewan. On the side of Toronto, I mean, honestly, all bets are off. They've played a lot of different tanks, and I do feel like whatever comp you roll out on here is going to revolve around that tank quite a bit. So what is Versace Plug thinking for on the defense here? All right, gonna be over on the Diva. Makes a lot of sense here. Like I said, you have the high ground to control, having that verticality, very, very helpful here. Barefoot's over on the Hanzo as well, and then the Bouillon Kiriko. Nice to have that poke damage potential in your supports, especially on a map like Route 66. On the attack, so Saskatchewan do have a little bit of time here to swap some things around, but this is a pretty standard composition, I think. And now McMahon is going to have Zarya bubbles to go on top of all of that damage that they've been putting out, so we'll have to see what Techie T can get done here, especially because Versace Plug is over on that Diva, so definitely going to be able to kind of burn down that mech quite a bit if you can kind of gain access to it. And alright, nice little right click onto the high ground. That's good way to get some access. Alright, Barefu onto this Hanzo, looking to get some headshots. Okay, well, there's one to start things out. McMahon is not going to fall for that, though, and is actually going to push onto this high ground, taking some of this space, trying to take some of this space away. Really do want to try and displace this Hanzo as early as we can. Oh, Versace Plug actually is the one that gets pushed back here, though. A lot of damage out onto that Diva. Oh, Goopy Jupiter. Oh, gonna fall victim to that sword, and that's gonna be the first blood here on Route 66, going the way of Saskatchewan. Ochi doing a good job making sure Techie T stays alive through all of this. With this Zarya, you really do want her to be alive for as long as possible so you can keep that charge up, especially against this Diva, where you would love to just absolutely melt that mech. A lot of progress being gained here on the payload for Saskatchewan on their attack. And it does look like there is going to be a contest. No, there is not going to be a contest here. Versace Plug psyching me out a little bit here. All right, no recontest. It is going to be a clean fight on the second, or early fight, I should say, on the second point here for the side of Toronto. No ults built up, so it's really a matter of trying to find these opening picks. Bubble in onto McMahon. Ooh, they do actually get booped in, though, and yeah, gets punished. Excellent job from Versace Plug. Now it is going to be Toronto pushing forward. Would love to get another little late stagger kill here. Goofy Jupiter has that recall forced out, though, so you're not going to be able to push too far forward. Versace Plug falling very low. Really wants to take that fight against Bochi there. He's going to be forced back, and now he's going to be Computer, I believe, is going to have the first ult online here. Very close with Bochi, though. All right, here we go. Tidal Blast ready to go, but ooh, has actually been teamed. Here's a little parting gift to the Lucio, though, and Jose is taken out. Bochi down as well, so there are no support here on the side of Saskatchewan. Make it a little tough to keep pushing forward, but McMahon's gonna go ahead and find that health pack. Thundering Blade is out. Yeah, Barefoot really did just get targeted out there. Your OW is gonna manage to stay alive. Deferado actually with a headshot kill onto McMahon there, and it's good stabilization here for Toronto. I do believe that the Diva is still, oh no, Diva is back in the mech here, so pretty good to go for the side of Toronto, especially considering 4 ultimates on the board here. Bochi pulling out the application matrix first. No, the layup actually fell off the bridge. Oh, unfortunately for Bochi, that does mean that he's gonna end up falling to that pulse bomb stick. And the Kitsune rush from Deferado really just forcing everybody from Saskatchewan back. It was a nice disengage there. Actually being
down one here. You want to try and stay alive. You don't want to get staggered out here. Alright, Bochi is back into the mix now, and that's a pretty expensive ult fight there from the side of Toronto. Not a whole lot to work with here. You have the dragons, but it's a very large open space, and now you've already lost the computer. Unfortunately, Nickman, ooh, actually going to find two here. Doesn't quite manage to find Versace Blood before he gets back into that mech. Bearfu going to find that shot as the payload. The payload, anybody? Oh no! Oh, Toronto and Rain missing the payload, just being slid in to a second point there, and that's a very good job from Jose, and I believe actually Techie 2 is on that point as well. Fantastic cap here, and a whole lot of time moving into third point here. Not to mention ultimates as well. You love to really not have to use anything to get a cap up like that. The Graviton Surge ready to go here from Techie. There is no defensive ultimate on the side of Toronto, so it's a lot of pressure on Versace Plug on this D.Va to try and eat the grab, or just play split and, you know, Bearfoo's maybe a sacrificial lamb again. Alright, we can see that Techie is kind of looking for a nice headshot from Desperado. I think that's the second one that he's actually been able to find over on to share. Bearfoo picking up an limb as well this fight, and gonna go ahead commit those dragons onto the point. Does a good chunk of damage, but nice lamp here from Bochi is going to keep his team alive and fighting, and the amplification matrix as well. Saskatchewan are looking to close out Route 66 right here, right now. They're committing into it. That health pack has been hacked up by Bearfu, so it is going to be in control of Toronto. The beat out from Jose doesn't connect on a Mixman, but everybody else is going to get that. We are going to have the grab. Versace Plug actually going to be the sacrificial lamb. Solo grab onto the tank, and that is definitely going to be worth it here for the side of Saskatchewan. The team kill comes through, and 3 minutes and 14 seconds on the clock. A really, really good time to make here for Route 66. Honestly, that is going to be very hard to beat. Honestly, it's probably going to be really hard to even kind of get close to. We didn't really see a kind of a clean fight here on third point. It felt like Saskatchewan pretty much just walked their way through it the entire time. Even when they were, you know, down one, you have an ultimate, you commit the amplification matrix there. Bochi keeps the team moving forward, and it buys enough time to get Cher back into the fight. All right. Well, what is Toronto going to do on their defense here? Thank you for the follow. I have things turned off, but I can hear that somebody is mad, so thanks so much. All right. Ooh, okay. So we are going to have the same comp here for the defense on the side of Saskatchewan.
Hello. What's up?
Lucio Bab, definitely going to be a very strong backline. Not a whole lot of kind of peel potential. Bochi is going to probably be targeted out, especially because if Toronto do roll out on this dive composition, right? Bearfu over on the Genji, Versace over on the Winston here. This is really designed to more or less just kind of ignore Techie T on this Zarya. When you're playing the Winston, it's all about just taking the backline fights.
Stop the payload.
Alright, doors have opened up, and the dive comp here is in the Kiriko Wuyong backline as well, so high mobility for everybody on the side of Toronto. This is an interesting hold, though, for Saskatchewan. They're actually not on the gas station, they're holding close here. And against a bubbled up Vendetta, I mean, you're going to be able to do so much damage before, okay, I was going to say before Toronto can even push in, but Goofy Tuber does manage to find his way through things here. Cher taken out, and now it's a lot of pressure on Nickman to be able to be the one to put out most of this damage that you'd love to be poking into the tank before you can get in. Headshot connects on to Goofy Tuber, but he's going to at least get away for now. There is Nickman getting punished out. And now it is going to be Toronto kind of in control of this high ground of the gas station, and they're going to be able to start moving this payload forward a little bit more here. Cher is back in the fight, but zoned out. Actually, got zoned out a little bit by Versace. Versace is not looking to back down, still kind of lurking around this corner here. Payload has moved around the second corner of the gas station. Cher falls very low. The heals are though. Oh, they're there for Cher. Are they there for Versace Plug? Oh, 61, 25 HP. This tank is falling so very, very low. Just doing acrobatics here. But while you're jumping around and trying to live, your supports, unfortunately, are getting walked on by this Zarya. So So Bearfoo does pick up that kill onto Nickman. This is going to be a bit of a stall out here for Toronto. They're not going to be able to get too much more progress. Bearfoo's still lurking in this back line as well. Nearly has the bubble bomb ready to go. Techie T falling so low, does have the bubble. Okay, getting very charged up here. Toronto really do want to be able to take this tank down. Pulse bomb out. Not find the damage that he was looking for. It is the amplification matrix on this high ground, trying to just kind of get control of this high ground. Oh, Nickman ends up falling there. Bochi unfortunately just turns his head for 1 second, and the Vendetta gets absolutely melted down. He's going to rush on the point here for Desperado. Excellent space coverage here, and that's going to allow Versace Plug to push up onto this high ground, take all of this space, make sure that Cher is not going to be raining down damage for free. Ooh, nice little long range shot there from Desperado, and he's going to slide the payload into first point as well for his team. Pretty good time bank. Moving into second point with the 4 minutes on the clock, and crucially, everybody from the side of Saskatchewan did kind of get those this long spawn. Everybody did, so you're gonna be able to get set up kind of on the high ground here if you are. Who do we have up here? It's actually Dufferottle this up on the high ground. I like that. And lots of ults here for the side of Toronto to work with. Big ults coming online for the side of Saskatchewan. Oh, one bubble force out. Bubbles actually forced out for Techie T. Is going to throw in this grab. More or less just ignoring it though. It did catch up the Genji, but the blade lasts a little bit longer than the grab. So it is going to be Bearfoo finding one here. Trades out from both sides. Now, we do have McMahon with the Sundering Blade. They're trying to find the Winston, but Versace Blood does have this Primal Rage. You got that perk where you're going to do a little bit extra damage with that jump as well. Now it's just, you know, making a little bit of a scene here as we are going to have the payload moving forward. Versace Plug out onto this high ground. That grab being committed, but Saskatchewan coming back into this TPS ult, still ready to go. Everything expended there for the side of Toronto, save for the pulse bomb that Goofy Goober is going to have online team. All right, McMahon putting pressure onto the point, trying to find someone out of position, and Goofy Goober is going to fall victim to that. Jose committing the beat, does connect onto Green, not onto McMahon, and not onto Cher. Actually, a little bit of a kind of a map flip coming through here, and gonna get punished for that map flip. Versace and Everado falling victim to the giant blade. McMahon didn't even have to commit this Sundering Blade to that. And Cher coming back with this overclock as well as just the beat that comes out from Jose, and that is enough for Saskatchewan to stabilize here on their defense, and everybody set up on this high ground. It's gonna make it very hard for Goofy Goober to kind of find somebody with this pulse bomb. You're gonna have to force the point a little bit, get someone to drop, and then try and connect onto a pulse bomb, but not onto the lamp target, not onto the bubble target. There's a lot standing in the way of this pulse bomb, unfortunately, for Goofy Goober. Alright, Kitsune Rush ready to go here for Desperado to throw that off the high ground so he can stay nice and safe up here, but Cher is absolutely melting down. Versace Plug Techie does get that final kill, and a nice little shot there onto Bearfoo with the overclock, and no overclock, but a nice little railgun there for Cher. Team kill coming through here for Saskatchewan. An expensive ult fight there for Toronto. Unfortunately, yeah, you commit the 2 ults that you had ready to go, and you knock them out on top, and you don't get a whole lot of ults out of Saskatchewan either. So McMahon still has this Sundering Blade. Bochi has this amplification matrix ready to go as well. All right, pressured out here from that high ground. Versace Plug is going to take this space. Amplification matrix now out. Does have a nice little angle onto Versace Plug, but the jump is there to get the Winston out of that fight. Now Toronto just respecting this matrix, don't want to poke that and get all that damage, but alright, now it's gone as the dive in again. McMahon going for the healer, and it does a lot of damage. Versace Plug trying to get out alive, has the support of both the Kiriko and the Wu Yang, and still so much damage coming through. Desperado getting a little bit too close to this plane. We are having Versace Plug build up to this, losing my words here, to the Primal Rage, but not going to be popping it in this one, as McMahon's still holding on to the Sundering Blade. I'm anticipating that it's going to come out, but I mean, they just don't need it. They just do the damage. 5 limbs as is, 30 seconds on the clock here. Toronto have really gotten stalled out here on this second point of Route 66, having a really hard time taking this high ground away from Saskatchewan. That just, they set up in the same way every time. It's the same defense. They've not been able to commit it. All right, it is going to be the Tidal Blast over onto the Lucio. The pulse bomb comes out. Did actually cancel out the sound barrier, but does not die for it. Versace Plug though cannot stay the same, as it is going to be the Thundering Blade that finds the Winston. Grab ready to go here, but Techie isn't going to have the opportunity to pull it out. Overtime is happening right now, so Toronto have to keep somebody on the point. They're very aware of it. You really want to take down McMahon. Bearfoot is going to be the one to do just that. Has the blade ready to go as well. Would really love to not have to commit it here. And, oh, the combo of Bearfoot and Goofy Juber. I mean, this is two DPS that have always done such a good job kind of working off of each other, especially when you're on this Tracer, you're on the Genji. Oh. Alright, that is going to be Toronto barely staying alive through that second point, and they're going to move over onto the third point here. Big ults on the board for Saskatchewan, though. Bubble in, and McMahon is going for the Winston, doing a whole big chunk of damage. The Suzu does get forced out from Desperado, and the wave just in time there to keep Versace Plug alive. 60 seconds to go here, and that is going to be Barefoot pulling out the blade. Ooh, finds a stray Jose. The Lucio got a little bit sideswiped there. Nice shot from Cher to take Barefoot out of the fight, but you are down in numbers for the side of Saskatchewan. So we got to get a little bit of space here. Nice stagger kill coming through onto Bochi as well, who did have that amplification matrix ready to go. Kitsune Rush available for Toronto. This is going to be a good point to use it. But lots of ults here for the side of Saskatchewan. It is going to be the overclock out first. The Kitsune Rush in response, but nobody from Toronto is really going to be able to play into it. The pulse bomb does stick onto Bochi, but it is going to be, oh my gosh, not only the overclock, but McMahon with that Thundering Blade as well. Barely any time on the clock here, and Saskatchewan are just staggering out. Poor computer. Amplification matrix on the point, just ensuring that, unfortunately, Versace Plug is forced to dive straight into an amplification matrix, straight into a graviton surge. Barefoot does punish McMahon, who pushed a little far forward, but nobody from Toronto is going to be able to get another touch on the point. Saskatchewan gonna pick up Route 66 and put themselves at a match point here.
Of the game.
2-0 in the series. McMahon with that play of the game. I mean, it's Vendetta time. There's not much else to say about it. Vendetta is in such a good spot right now, and I think especially seeing that Saskatchewan were able to play the Zarya. I mean, Saskatchewan looked fantastic with Techie T over on the Ramatra, and you still made the Vendetta comp work, but then you pulled out the Zarya. You have the bubble to give over onto the Vendetta. It's tough to withstand through that. It's tough to kind of play second into that, and Toronto, unfortunately, not quite able to do so. Not quite able to kind of find the timing to go first in a lot of those fights either, where you did have that double flex, the Tracer and the Genji. You need a little bit of time to kind of get set up, and I mentioned this on Samoa, is that Saskatchewan is doing a great job kind of catching Toronto out in these rotations. So unfortunately, the longer you take to get set up, the more of a window is open for Saskatchewan to kind of go first and find their first limb. Also, yeah, fantastic peel from Saskatchewan as well, whether it was McMahon or it was Bochi that had the lamp ready to go. It felt like every dive that came in from Versace Plug was never a free dive. All right, map number 3 does have to be a push map. So we are going to have, of course, Saskatchewan banning out a push map because they did win. So now we're going to have Toronto selecting which push map to go to. So far they want to go to Survasa, but alas, the maps are in a set order. Save for the hybrid and the escort. Save for that one. That one's a little bit different. But otherwise, yeah, map number 3, we are going to end up on a push map. Interestingly, I actually don't think that we're meant to ban out a push map, but that's okay. We can ban New Queen Street. It's fine. I'm not an admin. I am but a co-streamer that has the rulebook open. All right. We will, of course, be having hero bans and the like come in as well. We gotta get the map locked in first, though. I do have to wonder, like, going over to push map,
how is Toronto going to change up their play style? Because right now, Saskatchewan very much feel like they're in the driver's seat here. This Vendetta composition looking absolutely stellar for them. So is it time? I mean, we're on map number 3. If you don't win this map now, Toronto is going to be going home. So you're facing down a reverse sweep to try and win this out. It might be time to go for the Vendetta ban. But alright, let's figure out what map we're going to first before we do any of that. As I said, it is a push map. New Queen Street banned out. Anyways, no mention. It is going to be Esperanza. Map number 3 selected here by the University of Toronto. Alright, and now we can move on to the bans here. And yeah, Toronto have decided it is time. Vendetta ban is going to be coming out here. So they are sick and tired of running into that giant sword. I think especially, you know, it's when it's a meta, and if you are not coming out with that hero, you're not able to match it, or you don't want to match it, that's where the hero bans really do come in handy here. So, alright, University of Toronto with the Vendetta ban. In response here, University of Saskatchewan are going to ban out that Kiriko. Do we get to see some Ana gameplay here? I cannot promise that, but it does open up maybe an opportunity. Or potentially a Junker Queen. No, I suspect that is probably a target ban onto Deferatl, who has been hitting some really great headshots on the Kiriko. Alrighty, what are these two teams thinking? What is McMahon going to play now that the Vendetta is out of the mix? My Reaper Mythic! Yeah, I should have reminded them. Skins on. Last skins still not on. Okay. I mean, I guess that answers my question as well. What is McMahon going to play? McMahon is going to play the Reaper. On the side of Toronto. Interesting. It is still gonna be the Genji Tracer, but we're gonna have Versace Plug over on the Zarya. Is Versace Plug the most tanks that I've seen in 3 maps? I mean, this guy's definitely very diverse in the tank picks, so you gotta respect that. Lucio Baptiste backline for both of these teams. Technically is gonna be over on that Ramatra though, so front line pressure really high between this Ramatra and this Reaper. So Versace is gonna have to do a very careful job cycling through these bubbles. You cannot get caught out without a bubble on the front line. And Goofy Duper, I mean, walked straight into his death there. Some Reaper shotguns right to the face for the Tracer, sent back to the spawn here. And now Saskatchewan are looking to walk forward with that. They are in control of the bot, so we can see a little bit of progress here. And there are the bubbles that have been forced out. Versace Plug, yeah, unfortunately gonna fall victim shortly after that. Deflect from Bearfu is not gonna cover all sides of that. Genji is a little bonk on the head. He's going to, once again, keep momentum going here for the side of Saskatchewan. Bearfu is gonna give us a swap here over on to the Sojourn off of that Genji. Alright, gonna be able to put a little bit more pressure onto Cher, and hopefully that is going to mean a little bit more space and a little bit less pressure for Versace to work with. Work against, I should say. Ooh, we're approaching that checkpoint for the side of Saskatchewan, and they're gonna go ahead and pick it up. That does mean that the forward spawns have now activated here for Saskatchewan, and they're going to just try and actually hold their ground here. We do have Goofy Juber going for a very long rotation up, trying to put some pressure onto this high ground. Really the only one that's going to be able to do it on the side of Toronto. You have Computer, okay, kind of taxing your Lucio around, or your Tracer around as well, but this does mean a very big split here, and that is proven to be very effective here for Saskatchewan. Amplification Matrix out first for Deferatl here. A nice little angle, gonna be able to keep Computer alive, and that is gonna allow Toronto to start pushing forward. The Nemesis Storm forced out here from Techie T. As finally, we are gonna have Toronto back in control of this spot. I should say in control of this spot. And they're gonna be able to at least try and get rid of this forward spawn. Late kill is great here actually onto Bochi, who did have that Amplification Matrix ready to go. And Bochi, he's actually not going to get that forward spawn. So this is going to be more space here for Toronto to try and work with. Saskatchewan forced to give a little bit of space. Wait for your Baptiste to come back into things. Have the Amplification Matrix. You have the Overclock ready to go. Goofy does have the Pulse Bomb. Knows where Saskatchewan is coming for. Would love to try and find a Pulse Bomb onto one of these squishy targets. Amplification Matrix
out from the corner here. Knows that pulse bomb is coming. Does go a little bit wide here. And that amp matrix, although it doesn't do any damage, it does allow everybody to walk forward. McMahon taking out Desperado here. Gets caught out as well. We have the grab in. Does connect on to 2. Bearfoo. Oh, not going to be able to find anything because there is a big old death blossom in your face. And now it's looking pretty good for Saskatchewan to come back into this despite losing Techie T there. We do have Versace Plus falling so low, ends up taking himself out, but does take McMahon out as well. However, it is Saskatchewan that have the numbers ready to go. Gonna be able to push this forward here. It's a 2 versus 1, and Goofy Jooper does not like those odds. Gonna back up a bit here. Cher did manage to hold on to this overclock as well as the Annihilation online for Techie T. A lot of pressure on Computer to try and hit a massive piece to try and sustain through one of these ultimates, which does mean that, of course, you're going to be able to pretty much just pull one ult here for the side of Saskatchewan, get that beat out, and then come out with the other one, and you'll still have your own beat to work with them. Really great ult economy here for Saskatchewan. Alright, it's the overclock out for Cher first. There is the beat. Does connect onto all 5, and then we're going to actually have the response beat coming out from Jose here. And it'll be falling just yet, but now those beats are gone from both teams. And alright, now it's time for the Annihilation as Techie T kind of looking around, trying to find something, but his TPS has actually more or less kind of killed everybody here. Goofy Jooper still alive, so the trades are coming through. Techie T, though, has a whole lot of HP and an entire nemesis for him, so although Goofy Jooper is still lurking around here on that Tracer, not going to be able to halt the progress that's being gained here on that card, on that bot.
They will not be ready for us.
Bochi does have the amplification matrix here. Desperato's going to have an amplification matrix as well. We actually did see him use the amp matrix right here last time, but it is going to be Bochi that comes out first here. Pulse bomb! Wait, actually, we take out the lamp, but does enough damage that Goofy Jooper's able to take out Bochi shortly after that. Versace taking out McMahon as well. And now there's just 2 alive here for the side of Saskatchewan. The Nemesis form still in effect. All right, well, a headshot railgun from Bearfeet is going to annihilate that. All right, we do have Toronto back in control. Oh, thank you for the follow, and I'm sorry, I can hear them, but I don't know who it is. So thank you so much. I hope you're appreciating the cast. There'll be lots more CCL co-streams throughout the season. So hey, little plug, if you are on the CCL team, make sure you get your reschedules in so that I can maybe try and cover some of them. All right, forward spawn has been taken away from Saskatchewan, but Toronto are not out of the woods just yet. McMahon does have a Blossom ready to go. They don't need it to take out the Lucio, and unfortunately for Versace, that means you're not going to have any speed, and there's a Blossom in your back line. And even though 3 ults were ready to go there, let's pause. Dramatic effect? Dramatic effect? Yeah, you earned it. Alright, yeah, we got 3 ultimates ready to go here for Toronto. Goofy Jooper is going to have the Pulse Bomb ready to go very shortly as well, so lots to work with here for Toronto. What is the rank range? Fantastic question. CCL is not rank-based. It is kind of performance-based. So we're in the Premier Division, which is the top tier of CCL. So probably mostly GM players, if I had to guess. Desperado gonna throw out the amplification matrix. Techie does just walk through it. Ooh, Goofy Jooper, no! I missed the double pulse bomb kill there, but team kill gonna come through here. I assume that was inside of the Graviton Surge there that Versace had. All right, well, I mean, we had 4 ultimates to work with for the Toronto. Now we have 2. 1. So Bearfoo gonna have to make some magic happen with this overclock. All right, forward spawn gone once again here for Saskatchewan. Ooh, okay. Saskatchewan are gonna push up onto this high ground though. Just speed and the aggression that's coming through. You want to try and force these bubbles out of Versace. You almost have this annihilation ready to go. Okay, it's now the turn of Toronto to go. Oh! Techie T falls so very, very low, but manages to stay alive through it. All right, well, now we're gonna see the turn come through for Saskatchewan. Is the amplification matrix out from Bochi, but it's on a bit of an awkward angle here, so you're not really gonna follow up through it, but he really created a whole bunch of space here. Annihilation comes out. Techie T getting absolutely melted down, though. Versace does end up getting traded out as well, though, so no tanks for either side, but it is 1 up in this fight. Make that 2 up in this fight. The nice little slide in from Bearfoo, taking down Bochi with that disruptor field. All right, this might be the chance for Toronto to try and finally get this forward spawn. Get the checkpoint rolling here. yeah, does appear like they're gonna be able to get that. Yeah, need to give a bit of space though. We can see that it is just gonna be Goofy Jooper that's pushing this payload in, that's barrier in. Collect that forward spawn, and now you just need to wait. Versace Plug is over on the Doomfist. Okay, just all the flexibility in the world from this tank, honestly. All right. Let's see what we're gonna get from the Doomfist. Going over onto the Baptiste, and oh, Bochi just did not see it coming. Okay, Jose, the beat comes out, connects onto 2. You need to try and get aggressive here. You need to use this beat to try and find another Elim. Not quite gonna do it, but you do manage to walk the bot back on over, getting rid of the forward spawn here. The required there for Toronto. Punch in from Versace, but you're gonna get punched down on your own. The Nemesis form from Techie T coming through there. Pulse Bomb doesn't connect onto Cher, who does have this overclock ready to go. Barefoot, though, is gonna pick up that kill onto Jose. No Lucio for the side of Saskatchewan, and Computer really coming alive on the Lucio as well. The taxi. I keep seeming to go to these Lucios when they're going for the taxi, but you gotta have to do it if you're a Computer, because right now Toronto don't have any supports in this fight. Once again, Goofy Jooper is on that bot duty, moving back, trying to get this forward checkpoint, is going to pick that up. McMahon is lurking here in the shadows. Cher has the overclock ready to go as well. Saskatchewan actually might want to allow this bot to come around the corner so that you have a good space to try and use this overclock, because right now it does look like Toronto are just more or less getting themselves set up on that high ground. You have the amplification matrix, you have an overclock of your own. Almost feels like a stalemate that's happening right here. Both the Sojourns are trying to bait the other one into their kill box. It's a patience game, but ultimately Toronto does have to push this payload forward, so at some point you're gonna have to make a move here. So much respect between these two teams. You can see that they don't want to be the one that steps out of line first. All right, well, it is Desperado looking to push forward, taking space, has the amplification matrix to make that happen. That's exactly what they're going to get done. In response, McMahon tries to go for the Blossom, doesn't quite happen here. The OC does come out from Cher, but there's a 5-person beat from Computer, and a whole bunch of CC coming through from the Doomfist. Versace Plug does have this Meteor Strike ready to go. 10 seconds left, and I believe that Toronto's actually going to be able to pick up the lead here. Oh, they will. This is what I love about push maps. Overtime triggered here. We are going to have one more touch coming through from Nicken. Very, very low, though, and there is going to be 2 DPS ultimates to work with here for the side of Toronto. They have not taken the lead yet, though. All right, there we go. Kill on to Techie 2, who did just get that annihilation, but not quite in time, and that is it. Last second. Toronto staying alive in this map, in this series. Was the Doomfist swap what made it all happen? I don't know, but I am gonna say that, yeah, once we see a Doomfist swap come in, Toronto really came back into things. Okay, this is a series on our hands. Ooh, oh good, even though I missed the pulse bomb, Blizzard doesn't. Blizzard can be trusted. At least when it comes to getting a highlight. All right, Toronto. We are going to be going to map number 4. Are they trying to start the reverse sweep? I mean, they barely hung on to that Esperanza map, but they did make it happen, and in the end, that is all that matters. But unfortunately for Toronto, Vendetta ban has been used here, so now you are facing down McMahon, probably just going back over onto the Vendetta and slicing and dicing through your entire team. Versace Plug, poll in chat. What do they play next? So it is, I don't know if that's an actual question for me, but map number 4 is going to be a Flashpoint map. This is set in stone here. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. If you're just tuning in, I am here covering the Canadian Collegiate League. We are here in the Premier Division, so this is the top tier of the CCL. We have University of Toronto varsity against the University of Saskatchewan varsity. 2 heavy hitters here that are coming in from the last semester, so our season 1 fall term. So both of these teams have come up against each other before, definitely familiar with each other, so that just makes the competition all that much more fun here. Like I said, though, Flashpoint map number 4 here, and it is going to be Saskatchewan. I believe this is going to be their first map pick here, as we did have the coin flip go the way of Toronto, and they put us over onto Samoa. So not only is Toronto facing up that there's going to be a Vendetta back in the mix here, but
it's also not your map pick. Granted, you know, Flashpoint, there's only 3 maps to pick from, and we had a ban come out onto New Junk City, so I had 2 Flashpoints to work with here. Where are we going to end up? Well, it's a fun one. I will give you that. Atlas is going to be our Flashpoint map number 4, where Saskatchewan is looking to close things out here. This is a first to 3, so if Toronto are able to tie up Atlas, we will be going to that tiebreaker map, which will be a hybrid map. Ooh, a potential maybe for a draw. No, I'm not trying to speak anything into existence. I'm just saying it could happen. All right, bans coming up next. It is going to be the hero bans coming in, so it is Saskatchewan that get to ban out first. They're going to go ahead and ban out the Tracer. Ooh, a fun response ban coming through from Toronto is going to be the Lucio. So let's get those bans updated. All right, Toronto with the Lucio ban and Saskatchewan with the Tracer ban. I love the Atlas music. Honestly, fantastic music in all of the Flashpoint maps. If you don't have music turned on in Overwatch, like, sometimes you're really just missing out. I'm just gonna be real. Alright, let's head into things here. All tied, nope, not tied up, shouldn't say that. Toronto is looking to get this series all tied up here. It's map number 4. Saskatchewan would love to close things out here and now, take a 3-1 victory. Just gonna have to get through Atlas first to make that happen. Okay, so the Lucio ban coming out does mean that we're gonna obviously see a bit of a difference in these backlines. We have been having Computer and Jose on the Lucio the vast majority of the time, save for Route 66, where we did have that little bit of a swap up here. So, Bearfu, okay, Bearfu is teasing a vendetta of his own. We haven't seen this out from him just yet, but now appears to be the time. We are gonna have the TP out from Goofy Juber. Then it's over on to the Sojourn. So we are going to have mirror composition here. The only difference being that Computer is actually going to be over on this Juno. So there is going to be a little bit of a factor of speed here for the side of Toronto. And Jose over on that Wuyong. So we're going to go in with the poke damage, build up that Tidal Blast, give it over on to McMahon. All right, Bearfu starting out with first blood here is going to take out Boji. Here go gone. McMahon gone as well. Bearfu hitting heads with his sword. Ooh, bit off a little more than he could chew, though. It's okay, Cher is going to manage to punish that vendetta, but not before the rest of Saskatchewan has fallen. So first point capture here on station is going to go over to Toronto. Looking like Saskatchewan want to come into this pretty quickly, though. Everybody is grouping up. We're going to have a little bit of presence on this point. Flip is not quite going to go all the way through, though, as we are going to have Tech drop over onto the point. Back and forth. You can see how fast this percentage is building up here. Cher going to start with the kill for this fight over onto Goofy Juber, which means all that poke damage now gone for the side of Toronto. And with that, the rest of Toronto going to fall as well. No stagger going through on to Computer. Desperado manages to get the TP out. All right, 48%. Good little chunk here, but definitely an opportunity to get a few more fights in here for both teams. It's going to be McMahon and Goofy Juber kind of vying for the lead here and the first ultimate to be online. And Cher trying to catch up to this as well. Bearfu's looking for an angle here. Doesn't quite have the LOS to get the bubble from Versace yet, though. Be quite careful. Suzu actually coming out very early there from Boji. Oh, McMahon gonna take out Bearfu here. Do get trades coming out, though, so technically being taken down. No tank. Oh, nice headshot there from Goofy Juber over onto McMahon, just as they were kind of swinging into things. And now 71% here for Saskatchewan, and a little bit more than that. Actually going to reach 77 here. Do have to back up there. Don't quite have Techie T in the mix. And now we got some ults to work with. It is going to be Goofy Juber with this overclock. McMahon has built up this Sundering Blade, though, and I feel like Sundering Blade is quite impactful here on just like the topography of this point. Overclock out first, trying to force out McMahon, manages to do just that. The Suzu ends the bubble out. Oh, Goofy Juber just tearing apart the Saskatchewan team, and that is going to be good value for your overclock. One ultimate nets Toronto a team kill. And that is going to net Toronto the first point here on Atlas as well.
All right, where are we going? Point number 2.
Flashpoint.
It is going to be town center, so a lot more of kind of an open point here compared to the station. Oh, I see, I'm saying that. The station has all the high ground around it. Anyways, all right, it's going to be Katrina Rush here for Bochi. And we're going to combo that with the overclock as well. Sharon not actually standing in it, so it's more of just the space has been created with the Kitsune Rush. Ooh, kills coming through. Even the orbital ray committed there from computer. There's the shot that Cher was looking for. Did the Kitsune Rush get out? It did actually get out here, but now it's just computer on this Juno trying to stay alive. Needs to be able to keep his team up, but no. And McMahon is going to have absolutely none of that. So it is giving advantage. Tearing through this team. The point has opened, and the percentage is building here for the side of Saskatchewan. Looking for a late kill on the Versace, and they're going to find just that. And that is also very good value ult-wise for the side of Saskatchewan. You have massive grab and Sundering Blade combo coming up. Well, I've been saying that, but actually they have not been comboing these ultimates. You really can just kind of get the damage done with the Vendetta. Alright, we have a nice opportunity here. Yeah, looking for it. It's Tidal Blast in. It is going to be over on to McMahon, who is going to get all that damage done, and then Cher just pretty much cleaning things up with the Disruptor field there. Barefoot did pull out the Sundering Blade as well, trying to kind of at least get a trade through that grab, but it did not work out the way that I think that Toronto was really hoping it would.
And now this is last fight here. I actually don't think that Toronto is even going to be able to get a foot on this point. No, especially not with Techie T getting this
late kill, early kill I should say, on Suzuki Juber. You can see Toronto walking forward, trying to find something, not going to get it. It is going to be Atlas getting all tied up here, courtesy of Saskatchewan, picking up City Center. All right, moving over to our next flashpoint. Not sure that I heard which one that actually was. It is going to be Gardens. Okay, some trades actually coming out. A support down for both of these teams, but it is going to be Saskatchewan that gets set up on the point first here, and the flashpoint is going to be opening very, very soon, so it is going to be the first percentage. Looks like it's going over on to Saskatchewan. McMahon looking for it. Ooh, okay, there is the corner that you really need when you're up against a Sundering Blade. Flashpoint has opened. The contestant actually coming through here. Gets a rush from Bochi, trying to create some extra space here so that Saskatchewan can lock this point in. Does manage to do that, but Goofy Juber finding a shot with that overclock is immediately actually going to be traded out here. So trades on either side, and it is going to be Saskatchewan in control of the point already. Bochi's going to get back into this fight pretty darn quickly on that Kiriko. The TP's... yeah, somebody will help you out. There we go. All right, Orbital Ray and Kitsune Rush ready to go here, not including also the grab. Graviton Surge out. It's a solo grab onto McMahon. There is a Kitsune Rush to try and make that happen. Doesn't really secure the kill, but you peek your head out, and Sherry's going to take it off with an overclock here. Deferoto falling very low as well, and is going to be taken down. And this is looking like a very strong hold here for Saskatchewan on this Garden Point. Another opportunity for Toronto to come back into things. Big ults committed in that last fight, though. You really love to have kind of gotten a little bit of percentage, at least on the point for it. You do have the Orbital Ray to work with. Techie T, though, has this grab. You can just stop the touch altogether. The grab connecting onto 2, and yeah, Barefoot gets pulled into it as well. That's going to stop any touch coming through for the side of Toronto. Team kill comes through. Saskatchewan now at a map and match point here. We're going to be heading over to Resort for our 4th flashpoint here on Atlas. Swap coming through on the side of Toronto. Barefoot is going to move over on to the Genji. Alright, off of that Vendetta, looking to more go for kind of the follow-up kills rather than being the initiator here. So much more pressure onto Goofy Juber to be doing this damage. The Barefoot is going to find it, but Barefoot maybe still a little bit in Vendetta mode. Does end up falling early, courtesy of actually the Guardian Wave there for the side of Jose. Does have this Tidal Blast ready to go, but I don't expect that Saskatchewan is even going to need it. Toronto are staying kind of close to this engagement. Everybody kind of low on the side of Saskatchewan, but going to get healed up and are going to get the first percentage on the point here.
You can count on me.
Toronto trying to take this high ground away so that they can rotate in and get some heat on the point. Tidal Blast is going over on to McMahon. No surprise there. He's going to end up knocking down the Juno, and that is going to actually be a
trade coming out from either side. Techie T very charged up on this Zarya, doing so much damage. And this percentage is ticking up so quickly here on Resort. Toronto need to pull something together. You have this Orbital's Ray still ready to go. You just have not had an opportunity to use it. And now Bochi has gone ahead and built up to a Kitsune Rush. So you're going to be able to more or less counter out that Orbital Ray with this Kitsune Rush. McMahon a bubble over onto them, and they're looking to shut down Bearfoo. Okay, the defense does come out, but it's just not enough to stay alive through it. The Orbital Ray has been committed here. Suzuki does have the overclock to try and make something happen as well. There's the Kitsune Rush over onto the point. Mochi managed to get that off a little bit later. 97% here, and overtime does end up getting triggered. Toronto don't have a whole lot of bodies on the point, though. It's pretty much just Versace is going to end up falling Bearfoo. The deflex come through, and it's not going to be enough. It is a team kill to finish out Atlas and to finish out our series here. Saskatchewan going to pick up the win in our week number 1 here for them. 3-1 against Toronto.
This ends now.
Goofy Tuber does pick up the play of the game here.
Cybernetics regulating.
Yeah, great shots there on the Sojourn. All right, that has been our Canadian Collegiate League Premier match here for today. I thanks the teams once again so much for letting me co-stream this one, and thank them for getting their reschedules posted in the channel. If you want me to potentially have the opportunity to stream your match, if it gets rescheduled, I won't be able to do it on the default day most likely, but if it does get rescheduled, please make sure that you get it in the rescheduled channel, because that will allow me to kind of reach out to both teams and see if they're okay with me co-streaming it. I'll get a little bit of information from you just to make it a little bit more fun. Yeah, I would love to stream more CCL matches. So if it works out with my schedule, I will 100% be doing that. So thanks so much once again to the teams. Thank you to everybody that tuned in to support some Canadian Collegiate League. I'm super excited that the season has been going so well, and there's lots more to be seen here. So have a great night, and we will see you again for week number 2. Default match day is on Wednesday, so you can catch Overwatch CCL action on Wednesdays. Otherwise, I will keep an eye out on the reschedules, and I hope to see you guys